many ways is the future of computing.
It's a top 3 buying opportunity that I've seen in the last decade for tech.
Nvidia has become the most valuable company in the world.
How is an AI company able to reach this milestone so quickly compared to the others?
Behind closed doors, one company has been quietly powering nearly every major technological breakthrough of our time. From artificial intelligence to autonomous vehicles, advanced robotics, biotech, and even national defense. This company's signature microchips are the engine behind it all. And while most people don't know it, the world is rapidly becoming more and more dependent on this technology. This being the case, its influence is no longer just technological, it's geopolitical. This company is none other than Nvidia, and their chips aren't just fueling innovation, they're reshaping national agendas. They're behind the large language models transforming how we interact with information. They're embedded in the data centers, training military-grade simulations, and in an AI-driven world, whoever controls the compute controls the future. So in this video, we'll be exploring how Nvidia went from a niche graphics card company to the cornerstone of the AI era, why governments are fighting over its chips, and what the future might look like with Nvidia at the center of everything. Because in the new age of intelligence, the story of Nvidia isn't just about technology, it's about power, control, and the battle for the future itself. Before it became the backbone of artificial intelligence, Nvidia was just a scrappy startup with a big idea and an even bigger bet of the future of graphics. Founded in 1993 by Jensen Huang, Chris Malachowski, and Curtis Preem, the company set out to solve a niche problem: how to bring immersive 3D graphics to life for gamers. And in an era where most PCs could barely render smooth textures, Nvidia's engineers were pushing the boundaries of what was possible. That push led to major breakthroughs. The Riva 128 in 1997 brought serious 3D acceleration to the masses, but it was the GeForce 256 in 1999, marked as the world's first GPU, that changed everything. It didn't just render graphics faster, it redefined how computers process visual data. Nvidia's early success in the gaming world gave it momentum, revenue, and credibility. But what really set the company apart was its ability to see beyond pixels and polygons. Because while the rest of the industry saw GPUs as gaming accessories, Nvidia saw something far bigger: a new kind of computing engine that could change the world. When it comes to innovation, sometimes the most important breakthroughs aren't planned, they're discovered. Nvidia originally built GPUs for gamers, engineered to render high-resolution 3D graphics, but those same chips eventually turned out to be perfectly suited for something far more transformative: artificial intelligence. Unlike traditional CPUs that process tasks one step at a time, GPUs can handle thousands of operations in parallel, a critical trait for training deep learning models. Still, it wasn't until 2012, nearly 2 decades after Nvidia was founded, that the full power of this became clear. That year, a neural network called AlexNet stunned the world by dominating the ImageNet competition, a benchmark test in computer vision. But it wasn't just the model's accuracy that turned heads, it was how it was trained. Running entirely on 2 consumer-grade Nvidia GTX 580 graphics cards, AlexNet revealed that Nvidia's gaming hardware could be repurposed as the engine for deep learning. But I want to make something clear: Nvidia didn't just get lucky, instead they doubled down. You see, before this, back in 2006, they had quietly released something called CUDA, short for Compute Unified Device Architecture. CUDA is a free software toolkit that lets developers access the raw computing power of Nvidia's GPUs for general purpose tasks beyond just graphic rendering. It was originally intended for use in scientific research, simulations, and high performance computing, but for years it remained a niche tool until AlexNet changed everything. Practically overnight, CUDA went from obscure to essential. It allowed researchers, startups, and major tech companies alike to fully unlock Nvidia's GPU power and train complex models efficiently. With more developers on board, the toolkit evolved rapidly, and the more it evolved, the harder it became to leave. This flywheel effect created a massive ecosystem around Nvidia, one that competitors still haven't been able to replicate. You see, this marked a turning point not just for Nvidia, but for the entire tech industry. From that moment on, their chips wouldn't just enable AI, they would define its future, which brings us to where we are today, where Nvidia no longer just accelerates artificial intelligence, it anchors it. But while that anchor keeps the industry grounded, we have to ask, does this also weigh it down? But before we dive deeper into that, I first want to give a quick word from our sponsor, VeChain, and their powerful and quite honestly, revolutionary ecosystem, Vebetter. Since the beginning, VeChain has always been fundamentals first, and in 2025, it's no different. While the rest of the crypto space chases hype, VeChain is doubling down on real-world utility. With the launch of Vebetter mid last year, VeChain has been focused on sustainability, making our Earth a better place to live. And in April 2025, the ecosystem is thriving with dozens of projects offering better token reward incentives by encouraging sustainable lifestyle adjustments, such as using tote bags at the grocery store, tracking your steps, drinking coffee out of reusable mugs, or even picking up after your dog. This might sound silly at first, but once you realize that you do all these tasks on the daily already, you might as well get rewarded for it. I've been taking advantage of these methods via their app VWorld. Not only have I been rewarded for minute tasks, but I'm also capitalizing on their generous staking rewards that are currently over 85% a year. April has been packed full of announcements. This month alone, VeChain has launched a payment card that lets you spend your VeChain, VeChain Thor, or Better tokens anywhere Visa card is accepted. Furthermore, Dana White has become an official advisor for the project. Multiple exchange listings for all three ecosystem tokens have been announced, and considering the month isn't over, there's probably some more exciting news to come. In my opinion, after using the ecosystem firsthand, Vebetter and the Better token is still extremely overlooked right now. With new projects popping up left and right in the ecosystem, big names becoming advisors, current liquidity providers being minimal, but likely more to come, this is one that has major room for growth. So if you're ready to earn, spend, and stake your way into the next wave of blockchain adoption, check out VeChain's Vebetter ecosystem with the link in the description. So by now, Nvidia's influence is no longer confined to gaming or research labs. It's embedded in the core of modern technological infrastructure. Today, Nvidia's chips power everything from OpenAI's GPT models to Tesla's autonomous driving systems to military-grade simulations used in national defense. Its market share in the AI accelerator space sits around 95%, making it not just a leader, but the default. The company's flagship chips like the A100 and H100 have become the backbone of artificial intelligence development. After all, these aren't just components, they are strategic assets. Whether it's training large language models, optimizing robotics, or advancing medical research, Nvidia is the engine running beneath it all. Data centers across the globe are racing to upgrade with Nvidia hardware. Cloud computing giants like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google all rely on their GPUs to meet the rising demand for AI services. In biotech, Nvidia's chips help simulate complex molecules and analyze genetic data. In factories, they guide robotic precision. In finance, they power real-time modeling and decision-making. But Nvidia's dominance goes beyond just performance. Its hardware is deeply integrated with software platforms like CUDA and AI development frameworks, creating a self-reinforced ecosystem that's difficult for competitors to challenge. If you're building anything serious on AI, chances are you're building on Nvidia. And as the AI revolution accelerates, its central role in that future becomes harder to ignore. But that's where the concerns begin. Because when one company holds this much control over the tools that power the future, innovation risks becoming a walled garden. Progress becomes tied in a single roadmap, a single vendor, and a single point of failure. Which brings us to the question, what happens if Nvidia can't keep pace with the very revolution it helped spark. Going forward, Nvidia isn't slowing down. Its newest chip architecture, Blackwell, promises another leap forward, delivering more power, better energy efficiency, and the ability to handle increasingly massive AI models with ease. It's not just about speed anymore, it's about unlocking what's next. The company is also expanding far beyond traditional data centers, from edge computing to real-time AI interference in autonomous vehicles to breakthroughs in healthcare diagnostics. Nvidia is pushing its technology into every corner of modern life. And I think it's safe to say this isn't just a hardware story. Nvidia is also steadily becoming a full-stack AI infrastructure provider, offering not just chips, but the software, tools, and platforms to build an entire AI pipeline end to end. It's a strategy that further cements its role as the foundation of AI development. Still, as Nvidia's dominance grows, so do the questions. Can any one company remain this far ahead without stiffing competition? Could we hit innovation bottlenecks if everyone builds on the same platform? And with so much power concentrated in one place, what are the ethical responsibilities that come with it? That said, while the road ahead is still full of promises, it's also full of pressure, and Nvidia is at the center of it all. In today's world, power isn't just measured in missiles or markets, it's measured in compute. And at the center of that power struggle sits Nvidia. Its chips, once made for gamers, are now fueling the future of artificial intelligence. From ChatGPT to military simulations, they're the engines behind the most advanced systems in the world. But that level of influence doesn't come without consequences, and as of recently, April of 2025, the US government has officially barred Nvidia from selling its most powerful AI chips like the H100 and H20 to China, citing national security concerns. That move has triggered a multi-billion-dollar loss and sent a clear message. These chips aren't just commercial products anymore. They're strategic assets, as critical as oil, semiconductors, or rare earth metals. And that's not just America drawing the line. China is now racing to develop its own domestic alternatives, hoping to close the gap. But for now, they still lag behind in performance, efficiency, and software ecosystem. And with that said, Nvidia inevitably is caught in the middle, too vital to ignore, yet too powerful to fully control. It becomes a lightning rod for a new kind of arms race, one where the battleground is silicon and the prize is technological sovereignty. This isn't just a chip war, it's a fight over who controls the future of intelligence itself. And with Nvidia at the center of it all, the question isn't just how far their reach will go, but what happens if it ever breaks. It's no question that Nvidia has enjoyed an absolutely unparalleled abundance of success. But at the same time, as they say, all good things must come to an end. But in the case of Nvidia, is that even possible? After all, as of right now, Nvidia doesn't just dominate the AI chip market, it defines it. With an estimated 95% share of all AI computing infrastructure, Nvidia's grip on the sector is more than just strong, it's systemic. And at the heart of this dominance lies something even harder to dislodge than hardware: CUDA. You see, over time, it has evolved into an entire software ecosystem. Today, it's deeply embedded in AI workflows, scientific computing, and enterprise deployment pipelines. And because there's no true alternative that's as mature, optimized, and widely supported, moving away from CUDA isn't just inconvenient, it's practically impossible. Even as challengers like AMD, Intel, Graphcore try to claw their way into the space, none have come close to matching Nvidia's adoption rate or developer loyalty. CUDA has created a kind of gravitational field around Nvidia's platform, one that locks users in and keeps competitors out. That's why Nvidia's position today is starting to raise uncomfortable questions. What happens if the company falters? What if it's hit by regulation, export bans, or a slowdown in innovation? With so much of the AI industry built on top of Nvidia's stack, even a stumble could send shockwaves through global tech infrastructure. And regulators are starting to pay attention. The US Department of Justice has opened an antitrust investigation into Nvidia's market practices. Meanwhile, the European Union is reportedly examining whether the company's bundling of hardware and software constitutes unfair competition. The deeper concern though isn't legal, it's existential. Should one company have this much control over the foundation of tomorrow's intelligence? When the future of AI, and by extension the global economy, runs on the chips of a single company, we're not just talking about dominance, we're talking about dependence. And that brings us to the final question. What happens if the thing we've built everything on starts to crack? Because in the end, Nvidia's story may not just be about how it changed the world, it may be about whether or not the world can handle what comes next. But what do you guys think? Does Nvidia have too much power? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you found this video informative, consider giving it a like and being sure to subscribe so you don't miss videos like this in the future.